wrong is wrong and what's right is right. I believe that a hard day's work is worth a hard day's pay. I believe in the Lord above. We should walk his walk and all share his love instead of marching to the beat of the devil's parade. Stand around and trust some bleeding heart. It's time we all stood up, be outspoken. Bring it on, I don't care who you are. I won't be broken.
Yes, and there's a crew here tonight will not be broken as always here on this Thursday evening, 6 daylight savings time. Here and on the Real Deal broadcast, I'm one of the hosts, Big Wheels Bo Carver, along with, and he's disappeared for a minute, Rob Jones.
Rob just dipped out again, so
AKA Speed Racer, and as always, the star of the show. And here he is, the man of the hour, Terry the Patriot at Large Anderson, and we've got a very special guest tonight. And Terry, you want to introduce Jason?
Sure. We got Jason Jizza with us. Is it Jizza or Jizza or what? How we doing this, man?
Well, it's the J silent. I'm Czech. I'm a big bohonk, and it's Isha. So.
Isha. Okay. So
Terry, you were about a mile and a half off, so that's not bad.
Hey, I was on a radio show this morning. He called me Jize. Hey, Jize.
Jiza.
Jason Jize.
All I know is this man, when he gives you a hug, it will pop your back, snap you, put you back into alignment. He's got the best hugs ever, man. So, Jason, welcome, man. We're glad to have you on tonight. You know, I talked to Sonny Dash, your partner in crime, today, and I said, hey, man, you guys got a lot going on. Would you want to come on? And she said, no, but Jason will. I'm like, great, man. I'll have Jason on. And, you know, Sonny's great, but Jason's Jason. And so this is awesome to have you on.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and so Jason, I met you a few years ago through the USA Trump store. We were doing our Patriot Fest up there and got to know Sonny real well. And Sonny's been a dear friend, and then got to know you. And we this said the show already derailed at the station. Somebody did. I don't know who that is, but anyway,
what does that mean?
I have no idea. Got to know you.
They talking about Rob?
Maybe. Yeah. So got to know you, and then watching you over the last couple of years, man, you've got to meet Trump. You've got to be Mar-a-Lago a couple of times. You've been all over the country. Yes, working with the USA Trump store, but also speaking your truth, speaking about your Christian beliefs, speaking about, pro-America, topics and stuff like that. And so you've become an activist in your own right. And I'm, just wanted to have you on tonight and talk to you about what that's been like for you, man. So welcome, man.
Yeah, well, appreciate the welcoming from you guys. This whole adventure, like with, I'm sure all of us out here, it never something that we really planned on happening in our lives. We were working our regular mundane jobs, day to day, clocking in, clocking out, wondering what we're on this earth for. And then all of a sudden, we get this stolen election of 2020, and everybody's thrown into a tizzy. We got January 6th that really derailed so many things in the Trump movement, kind of put everything to a grinding halt, as we all got attacked in some fashion about just standing up for what we believed in, and that's all. And we just believed that the election was stolen, and we know it was stolen. And but that kind of turned things into we need to keep being proactive. We need to go out there and speak the truth. I fell into this with going to an event with my mom. It was Bard's Fest in St. Louis, and we had met Sonny there. We were attending. Sonny was selling, and one thing led to another, and she said, "Why don't you help me out? You know how it goes, Terry. Why don't you help me out at this event, because I need help." She's
voluntold you.
Yes, and then you feel like, hey, I got to do it, and you follow through with it, right? It's not something, and credit to her, she gives people opportunity and puts people in position to make that decision to go out and explore and to share their gifts, because we're also tied into our everyday life, that, you know, going to talk and being around people that are like-minded and think like you, you miss that. And being able to attend these events and be around the Patriots and the beliefs really invigorates one another, and you take that back to your regular life and share it with people back there, because we are the light, right? We're the ones that are sharing. We're the ones that are passing the torch on to someone else. You know, it's the old adage, when you have a bad apple in the bunch, it ruins the whole thing. Well, it's the same thing if you bring fresh apples into it and get rid of the bad apple, right? So we're the ones, we're out there, we're sharing with each other, and you know, one thing led to another to be able to share Trump's message and put merchandise in people's hands. And you know, it's just it's one way God has granted me and others around me, you know, a nice, what do I want to say, just the opportunity to share myself and
so
God.
This has been a great community, you know, to be involved in. And you know, through all this, like you said, we were out just doing our deal. All of a sudden this thing happened, and all of a sudden we're either involved or we're still sitting on the sidelines or whatever. But, you know, those of us chose to get involved. We have developed a pretty tight-knit community. You know, we all know each other. We're all working for what we want to see happen in this country. Trump is this figurehead for us, you know, and Trump's not perfect. We all know that, you know. Trump, shit, you know, he's Trump, you know, and you know, he's just, you know, what I like about him, he's like me. He's going to say the wrong thing sometimes. He's going to stick his foot in his mouth sometimes, but his one thing that he always cares about is this country. And you cannot deny that. You can't, and there's no denying it. And so this whole thing, you know, this MAGA movement, this Make America Great, white nationalists now, whatever they're calling us now, you know, here we are, and we're still fighting for this country. But you're getting to see this firsthand. You're going to so many different events. You see this across the country. What is your take on that? What does that look like? All these different events you're going to, are you seeing the continued momentum and the continued excitement about Trump in 2024?
Yeah, the momentum's there. You know, we got to look at the other side too of the tolerant left, right? When we're at these shows, sure, if we're at the patriotic events, we're in a, you know, we know our audience is going to be more our clientele and people that align with us. But say we go to an event that's maybe like a 4th of July event where all people attend, right?
Right.
Well, there's going to be people that aren't going to like Trump, and they really have a disdain for him because they get a severe case of TDS.
Right.
And they're going to come up and they're going to approach. Some are hostile, some are not. There was a time when we were down in West Palm at a home and garden show, and it was a Thursday, first day of the show, and I bet we had 100 people saying "F you," he needs to die, you need to die. You know, and then not asking why, not defending their case, and we're just like, how is this the tolerant left? How is this love? How is this accepting, right? Because if they have a real beef, then we can hash it out. Because we, like you said, Terry, we don't like everything Trump does and says, but it's about the mission. It's not about, you know, a word here and there. It's about what the end goal is, and we got insight. You know, we have an insight for that. So
and who better to be the leader of the free world, you know, is somebody who wants America, you know, to be first, you know, and so we sit there and we look at the last 3 years, going on 4 years now, of the Biden administration, and what a fiasco, just a shit show this has been. And I don't care, it's a shit show. You know, we've seen the borders wide open. We've seen people dying on the borders. We've seen illegal
pipeline shut down, causes everything go up in price. You know, for example, I had a battery go bad in my Expedition yesterday. It's been kind of headed that way. And I spoke to the partner that I do a radio show with every Saturday. And I said, hey, I had to get a battery. And I said, the last time I bought a battery for this car, which, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, it was like $85. I said, do you know what I paid for it today? $200. And that's just one item that has changed over the course of the last 3 years. of what's going on, and it's insane.
Well, we talk about news during this part of the dish. The broadcast, right? Probably the biggest news this week was the March inflation numbers, and they don't know how to excuse it away. Biden's saying that it's come down a lot since we took office, which is a complete lie. He actually said that it was when he didn't know
47 to 50% on most items.
Heard Joe Scarborough said today that the economy is red hot. It is red hot, out of control, red hot. And he said, the guy says, well, we're not, we're going to raise interest rates, but since it's been so good, we're just going to keep them where they're at a little bit longer instead.
Right.
That's
not a signal of a hot economy.
They're going to delay lowering the interest rates because of the inflation numbers that just came out. I mean, that's the actual reality. Forget the pretend nonsense world that they try to live in. That's why the Fed isn't going to bring rates down anymore right now, because inflation's going back up again. I mean, go buy gas, go buy groceries.
But the way they made a comment that we needed to raise them, but we're not, sounds like, oh, it's all good. But they're already still way too high compared to what they were 4 years ago.
This is hyperbole. This is their rhetoric.
They were touting that the inflation was coming down, which translate that into like real speech. It was going up slower. And the rate of inflation had slowed down. So they're saying, oh, inflation's coming down, but it went back up again in March. So as the inflation increase was slowing, which it was a little bit, they were going to lower the interest rate some. It's like 7%. If you want to get a mortgage right now, it's like 7%.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were going to ratchet that, but they can't, because with interest rates back up again, they can't take the risk of lowering the interest rate. So yeah, they just lie about it. Like Joe Scarborough saying the economy is red hot. Yeah.
Gaslighting. They're the experts at gaslighting.
It's rhetoric.
And I heard somebody else use that word about the way that the Biden administration talks about everything going on in the country, that they're gaslighting America. That they're trying to say, oh, never mind the crime in the streets, never mind the fact that you can't afford everything on your grocery list. Everything is great, and he's doing a wonderful job. And even though he thought, I think it was earlier today, he thought he was in the 20th century. He doesn't know who he is or what's going on around him. And it's almost like a boat at sea with nobody at the wheel. We're just
and he also said he's going to put a lot more money to free the student loan debts. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And we're already $35 trillion in the hole. And we just keep getting tax and tax and tax. I just made a comment to my wife today. I said, I worked all these years for putting away for Social Security to come back to me. Well, I paid taxes on all that money, and now I got to put taxes on the Social Security. And you just keep getting taxed on everything. It's double tax, triple tax, and it's just outrageous, dude.
Well, what happens if every single United States citizen did not pay their taxes for a whole month? Let's just say a month.
It would shut it down.
It'd be magical, because then we could take the power back and say, we have some stipulations. If we want to actually get back into this economy, we need you to do this.
Well, that would never happen, because these people that get student loans or any kind of federal assistance, they think it's coming from the government, but it comes from us.
They become part of the problem. That's right.
Yes, it comes from us, taxpayers, but they look at it comes from the government, and that the government tells them, we are the government doing that for you. But the government not doing squat. They're taking our money and giving it away, but they're making people think it's them doing it. And they're so stupid to realize that that's what's happening. But they don't really care either, because
But how do we get to them, Bo? How do we reach out? And Jason or anybody wants to comment on this. How do we get to that portion of the population, of the American population, that can't see the writing on the wall? And how do we get them to understand that they are they're sinking this ship. They think that this is a free ride. First of all, there's no such thing as a free ride. No such thing, right? But everybody that's out there looking for a free ride, whether you're on the left or you're in the middle, and you're like, you know what? I get, student loan forgiveness, or I get some COVID package or whatever it is. I get some stimulus, and this is great. I don't have to work for this. I'm getting free money. Now I'm watching my kids that are, anywhere from 20 to 40 years old, and I'm watching them struggle in this society, especially my younger kids, my 20 and 25-year-old. They're having a hard time figuring out how they're ever going to get ahead in this society. And that pisses me off more than anything. I mean, because they're my blood. You don't want to see that your kids suffer through something that, we should have. If we had this vibrant economy, then all these kids should be out there being able to get jobs, go to work. The $20 an hour McDonald's workers in California, hell, they can't even pay their bills at $20 an hour out there.
Well,
because inflation's so high.
The left is agenda driven. And when there's money that they feel that they get for their agenda, whether it be student loan paid, money for abortion, money to pay for people that want to be, change their sex identity, anything that has to do with that one agenda that they're under, that's what the left keeps promoting. And they've made it to where these people that's what they're so wrapped up in, that they could care less about the big picture. If I can get my student loan paid, I could care less about the country. If I can get, money for an abortion, I could care less about the country. If I can get it for having my sex change, get the money paid for that, I don't care about the country. So it's going to be very difficult, if almost impossible, to get those kind of people to see the light, because they don't care about the light.
We're gonna get some scrutiny from Facebook and other people, I think, with these comments. I've been saying that for years. Stop paying the damn game. Stop playing their damn game. No one pays taxes. What are they going to do? Arrest us all? And then we got, we must band together and refuse to pay all taxes. And these are brothers and sisters of mine. And we've got a lot of PFA people on here tonight. And just by the way, PFA guys, we were supposed to have Sam Hall on tonight, but I was slow getting an invitation to him. So hopefully Sam Hall with PFA will be on next week. But, Jason, what we're talking about here, this stuff that we're dealing with. And like I said, you're seeing this across the country. How many different states have you been to in the last 2 years?
I mean, 40, at least 40, 50 states.
40, you guys 50. Are nonstop traveling. You're seeing these events. You're seeing different levels of involvement across the country. And it's good to hear that you say that there's still a lot of momentum and excitement about that. But, is it going to be enough in 2024? And it brings us back to how we got here in the first place, or how this got so convoluted, was with the stolen election, with the J6 setup, and now here we are 3 years after that. And then this, this regime that's in here that's doing everything they can to tear apart our country. Do we have enough momentum to overcome that this year?
Well, you back to your original point, how do we get there? We need to see justice. We need to have some form of justice that opens potentially opens a door for us to look into what actually happened, right? I know it sounds great. It sounds like, but at some point during this awakening process, there's going to be somebody that's going to go down. I mean, we're getting Diddy, bringing in LeBron James with him. Everybody connected to him, right? Because we all know LeBron James. And I mean, I used to love and idolize the guy. And then I have to take a stance that I just loathe this human being for what he stands for and what he's done. But in the way that we get this country back is that we do need some form of justice, so we can start getting into the teeth of it and actually breaking down what happened so it doesn't happen again. And that, with Congress and everything that they got going, I don't trust a damn thing that they're doing. All they are is just up there yapping their gums and
both sides of the aisle. Both sides of the aisle. And this is the sad thing. We're talking about, we've got this Republican Party, or this MAGA movement that's going on, similar to how the Tea Party was, where we're trying to rectify these wrongs, but we still have so many entrenched bureaucrats that are in politicians that have been entrenched with, there's no term limits. They're just running it out on both sides of the aisle. I don't care. You know, yes, I'm Republican, I'm conservative, all that. It doesn't make me happy with my own party. I'm not happy with them.
So, but more importantly, Terry, is you're an American first patriot,
right?
Mhm.
Right? Because those other things have been around forever. Conservatives go back Civil War time, right? A conservative group within the Republican Party has always been a thing. That what's new and why they're going after Trump so hard, why they're going after the J6ers so hard, is there's a lot of us out here have figured out that y'all both sides, y'all are colluding together. And it's a game that you're playing on us. So the people for the MAGA folks that have woken up, America First folks, Christian nationalist, whatever you want to call us, it's a subset of that conservative group, and actually a lot of people that were Democrats are joining the America First movement because our eyes have been, the scales have fallen off, and our eyes have seen that it's both parties fighting against us. Here in Texas, and particularly, where I'm at in Kaufman County, the rhinos are just as bad as the Democrats are. And, the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about, the Dade Phelan runoff that's going on down in Houston. He's just as might as well be a Democrat because of the policies that he backs, all kinds of reassignment surgery stuff and just all the nonsense. They're both into it because it's where money is. They're making millions of dollars out of mutilating children, and there's money to be had there. So they work together. The whole thing about, we're talking about taxes. Is the income taxes is actually legal? Do we actually, go back and look at the 19th Amendment, 17th or 19th Amendment where they brought that up? We're so far astray from what that document said with all of you could fill my house with documents and you still wouldn't be able to fit the entire U.S. tax code in here.
Well, if somebody asks about how do you stop paying taxes, well, first of all, if you work at a job, you just take how many you claim and just claim nobody, and then at the end of the year, you just don't send them any money.
Well, and listen, guys, this isn't a conversation about, I guess we're talking about that, but, realistically, is that something that we can see happen?
We're probably not, but the person asked that question.
No, that was Judy Beard, and she's great and all that.
It is April 11th. Guess what I'm doing this weekend?
Taxes, that's right. So, but here's the thing, these are things that we want to see reform in. We want to see tax reform. Sure, I'd love to see a straight tax, but but these are all different things that we can't fix until we get our elected officials doing their job. Right now we're so busy pumping money to the Ukraine. Can you believe how much money we have spent there? And that money, well, how much did Trump want to build the wall? Jason, you got the answer?
$5 billion. Just
$5 billion. And how many trillion have we sent to Ukraine?
Well, it's been a couple $100 billion.
It's 500 billion, a couple 500 billion. So yeah, a lot of money, too much.
They're trying to send more. It's a laundromat. It's the uniparty laundromat. Because there's no accountability to where that money is going. When you see some of the Freedom Caucus folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene and some other people that are like, we want accountability for this money before we're going to vote on sending them any more. They don't know where it's going.
No,
it's paying the salaries of your Ukrainian bureaucrats and other, we're paying,
and it's lining the pockets of some of our own people in our own country.
Well, it comes back, right? It comes back. It goes through, a bunch of different shell corporations. So
I have to say something about this comment that's up here.
Politicians' pockets.
The only fix is mandatory term limits. And somebody told me something the other day, and there is a way to enforce or to enact term limits right now. And you know how we do that? Is we use our voting powers to do that. If you vote, you can vote people out. That's how you can affect term limits, is by voting them out. If we can have fair elections.
The best way is in the primary, because when you get to the final election and you have a left-wing nut and even somewhat a middle ground Republican, I'm not going to vote for a left wing nut. We already got enough of those. So what you have to do is replace that conservative person. If you're a conservative, or even if you're a Democrat, replace that person in the primary, because when it gets to the main election, you've now got a new face that's going to go in there if they get elected. So both parties really need to consider that. And that's how you can change it. Right there is in the primary. Because it won't be changed in the main election. I promise you that. That's not going to happen.
Let me segue into this. I met a guy this week. He fixed my dad's van. It got deer hit it, so they're about doing body work on it, and Dad had talked to him beforehand. Says, yeah, my son, works with the Trump store, travels the country, etc. So he was like, oh, I'd like to meet him. So Dad brought me out there. We started talking, and this man is a mayor of a town in the county I'm from, and he just starts going off about how when there's COVID time, he would be on the phones with all the medical centers in the county, in the state, etc. And he's asking the question. He's like, I'm a Marine, former Marine. He goes, I did gas chambers, and I know what kind of equipment that I needed to put on so I wouldn't get infected. He goes, if this is such a contagion, he goes, what are we doing with these masks? And so he's asking these questions, right? Obviously that we all went down that, and they would not even report his questions and his minutes into the notes of these conference calls that they were having, right? And he's supposed to report back. They said, well, we're taking the advice of the Nebraska University of Nebraska Medical Center. Well, if you go back, they're supposed to be unbiased, right? Non-political, unbiased. There's a picture of 15 white workers with masks on, taking a knee, holding up BLM signs. And he says, and he showed me the picture. He just showed me. He's like, I had this. He goes, we're taking advice from these people who don't have an agenda. Excuse me, that's not right. So his community, and I never knew this, his community never had a mask mandate. They never had any restrictions. I mean, I think the schools maybe did, but that was it's out of his jurisdiction in some regard. But he stood up to all this stuff, took a lot of grief for it, but he says we're not going to do that, and his community loves him, and he'll always be elected that mayor forever. So it just shows you that the people in power do matter, and we need to put the people like this guy in office, keep them there, and yeah, so crazy.
Yeah, so you were also talking about in Nebraska this winner take all thing, Jason. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was the 2020 election, and we look at the screen. You guys seen it too. What's this little blue mark in Nebraska with 3 lines, right? Well, we have 5 electoral college votes in Nebraska, but Nebraska and Maine, the only 2 states that divvy up by district. Okay. So the Omaha Bellevue district, which is that district, voted Biden, basically Biden, voted for Biden, and so he received that electoral college vote. Well, we're now into this cycle saying why did that happen? What was the process? Why are we in this limbo? And it's been something that's been a point of contention for years, but nobody's ever done anything about it because nobody had the balls to be honest. And Nebraska is a super red state, so it's always going to go red, right? So we divvy up that vote in a scenario with the electoral college and how the swing states go. Wisconsin goes here, North Carolina goes there, Georgia goes here. However it shakes out, it could be 268 to 268. But with that one vote, it would be 270 to 269, 269, but it would be 270 to Joe Biden to 268 to Trump if that scenario works out, which this might be the only way Biden could even take the office based off of the numbers and the polls out there. So what we're trying to do is consolidate, take that vote and be like the other 48 states out there and make it winner take all. Now, I had my sister-in-law, step sister-in-law, message me. Leave, they're hard lefties. Okay, I can't. It's just sad that they live their life that way. But she's
Every
a pharmacist.
family's got one.
We got a few, but she's a pharmacist, so I kind of understand in that regard. But she jumps in and says, leave their votes alone. Leave that district alone. Let every voice count. So I stopped her and I said, look, you can't say that, because if you really want to go the way that we do it here in Nebraska, let's go do that in California, in Northern California, and all over California besides the cities. Let's
Central
go do that
Valley,
in New York,
High Desert.
Buffalo, Albany. You think these people are going to really vote? We're going to take all of those electoral college votes, and you'll never, ever win another election. So that shut her up pretty quick. And that's the thing, that Democrats are in a catch-22 because they can't say anything, because it only screws them every way they look at it. And so Charlie Kirk has come. He's drawn awareness to it. I give him a lot of credit. He's talked about it for like a whole week last week. He puts up phone numbers. There's the Bill Blaster app. You guys familiar with? War Room has a Bill Blaster app. You guys familiar with that at all?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So what it is, to the audience, if you don't know, it's they compiled all the numbers of state elected officials, and they put them all so you can sort through and call the one that represents you when you need to have the call to action, because we have many calls to action that are going to be that have happened and that are going to happen here in the near future. That means calling up the governor of Nebraska, saying, and that don't matter. It's not just, I don't have to be from Nebraska. It can be from Texas. We can be from California. We can be from anywhere, because this affects the general election. It's a national thing, right? So we need the governor, and I encourage everybody, 402-471-2244. Call Nebraska, Governor Pillen, and demand a special session for winner take all.
Right. So there's so many different nuances, or not, just little critical things like that enough people aren't aware about. They don't know how to affect a change. They don't know where to vote. They don't know where to get the word in, or to get their vote in, or how to go to these places. So again, tell us about the Bill Blaster thing again.
It's a Bill Blaster app. You download it from the Apple and Google Play Store. Right. It basically takes, say, in Texas, it's going to have the Governor Abbott, have his phone number, have his email, have his website that you can go to, and be right. You click your fingertips. You just do a search and you can type it in, and it pulls right up. So it has pretty much everybody. They're always updating it, and it's a call to action. We the people, right? We the people.
Yeah.
What can I do? I don't have a voice. My voice doesn't count. Your voice counts. If you're elected official, exactly 2 minutes. Pick it up. Make the phone call. Your elected official, if he gets enough heat, she gets enough heat, they've got to act. They've got to respond in some way. And if they don't, we know who to get out. Don Bacon, Nebraska.
Yeah, the app is a great idea. Or you could do like Trixie Racer, and you could have all those people on speed dial.
There you go. And harass them daily.
Oh yeah, I came home from work one day, and she's just making phone calls. Right, she's just dialing a number, and I was like, "What do you?" After the 12th one, I was like, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm calling everybody in Congress." I'm down to the L's. I'm on Jim Langford.
Hey, Jason, I got to ask you a question before I forget. Is that elephant back there happen to represent red being conservative? Is that a conservative elephant?
Yeah, and it's got some gold in there too. So it's got Trump. It represents Trump too.
Hey, talk about some of the things you guys got going with the USA Trump store, with some of the events coming up, and with the Trump Mercedes and some of those things.
Yeah, we got a
those
surprise.
Fun issues.
We got a surprise coming out in May. We're going to be showcasing it at the Texas GOP State Convention, San Antonio, May 23rd. We got a lot of excitement into it right now. We got a lot of new merch coming, gold merch that we're going to have. You can see this hat. We got the Trump gold hat.
Iffy, yeah.
This one's the flag.
Weren't you guys going to send one out to all the hosts here? Isn't that what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just $40. You can go USA Trust.
Oh,
just kidding. I'm just playing.
Can you get that elephant up through the Trump store?
The elephant, no. That's just a glass. That's a glass piece. We
Okay.
do have an Oval Office in our store. Next time we do the show, if you guys are kind enough to have me back, I'll do it from the Oval Office out at our store, which
Nice.
is in
Yeah.
Gainesville.
It is nice.
It's on the Texas-Oklahoma border. 5 minutes from WinStar Casino, exit 501 Liberty Way. It's right next to Tractor Bob's. 5,000 square foot store. We got it all in there. Terry knew we basically got kicked out of our other store. The guy that loved Biden.
It was my neighbor, man.
He didn't love Biden.
They were
just
right
fans.
next door to me, man. They were my neighbors.
I know. Yep, but Terry knows how much merch we had, and you'd be surprised, Terry. We've been knocking it down. You'd be pleased.
Yeah.
And so we
Mountains of
got
merchandise.
our store is great though. It said 5,000 square foot. We've got anything from your regular hats, shirts, flags. But we also, Terry, this, we're into the bedazzled purses and jewelry.
Well, I talked to Sonny today, and we are going to do the Patriot Fest again this fall. We're going to do it up there at your store out in the parking
that'd be
lot
great.
there. Yeah, and that's Greg Robinson was just on there. He did the horse security when we had the Street Fighter. Scott McKay was down here.
Yep.
Did that event there. And
Baby Trump.
Yep, and Baby Trump and a bunch of other people. It was good. It was a good event. But Greg did the horse security, and he's been telling me he's getting ready to roll again. So we'll definitely.
Greg's a great guy. I love that guy.
That is an awesome.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a solid dude. And we're excited. I mean, we've got an outdoor amphitheater kind of area. We got drinks and food and you name it. It's going to be it's a great place to be, and we're looking to be hosting quite a few events out there, as many as we can. We just want Patriots to be together and hang out with each other, right?
Right.
I mean, that's half the battle.
It's a great venue. The place you had here, where I'm at in the same compound that I'm at, it was okay. It was great. But this is such a nicer facility for you guys, and we'll be able to do some bigger events up there. And so, as we're gearing up towards the end of this year, we're going to need to, mobilize the people, man, get them together. So
people need a call to action, and sometimes it takes being around other Patriots just to get that fire sparked up. I mean, there's a lot of us like us, you guys and I. We're so ingrained and interconnected with every movement that's going on on a day-to-day basis, and there's so much that happens every single day. But there's a lot of people that aren't. They don't want to pay attention, and and those are the people we're trying to reach still. And I always worried when I was younger. I worried about what people thought of me. Okay, I was a pussy. Sorry, right. I was. But now,
come on, you're a Cornhusker, dude. You played football for Nebraska. Come on.
Hey,
now.
I was too sensitive. But you grow up and you learn that you need to be bold. And you need to take a stance, and you have to stand for something. Yeah. I know I'm in this because I want my son to have a future. Okay, because he won't. We know you'll all know her.
That comment right there. Thanks, brother. Love you too. That's from Greg right there. He says,
"All right, Greg.
Yeah,
my guy."
Yeah.
But So we're in this fight, guys.
There is, and it's not going away. I'm not quitting. I'm ready to. So here's the thing. All right, let's just say we go along, we get to 2024, Trump's elected. Do you think that our fight is over just because Trump's elected? No. And that's the thing that people don't understand. It's not like this silver bullet, this quick fix. Trump's elected. Yeah, that gives us some opportunity to fix some things and change some things. But man, for the long term, if we don't stay involved for the next 20 years, if I even got 20 years, if you do, whatever, or bring up younger men and younger women below us and mentor them and teach them the right things to do, we will be doomed, because this is cyclical. It's going to happen again if we don't start addressing it and fixing it long term now.
Sometimes you have to raise them. I don't know if you saw Emerald 3434 in the comments.
I did. That's your boy.
That's that. Yeah.
That's your boy. I love that. That's why I popped that up there, man. That's awesome to see him commenting on this. And
well,
my son's in the other room listening to me in the other room, and whether he likes it or not, his shit gets ingrained into his head. Mm-hmm. And that's what it needs to happen, man. We need to teach our kids the right way to look at how to protect our country, how to think about generational changes, how to think about, and speaking of, how to think about how bringing God back into our country.
Amen.
Great segue into a scripture tonight, Bo.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
It's
So
a
we always
little
bring
bit,
a little scripture,
it's
Jason.
a little bit longer than normal, but it really
All
kind
right.
of goes really good with what we've been talking about.
It's funny that way.
There's a seed. It's referring to God, the Word of God, but this is also pertains to what we're talking about people and about the knowledge and the understanding, and it takes place in Luke 8. And I'll start with verse 5. It says, "A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering seed, some fell along the path.
Hey, Bo, you're cutting out really bad. Can you reset or something? Because it was
Can
bad
you hear me
cutoff.
better now?
Yes,
Yep.
Is
sir.
that it?
Yep.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hold your
I-
head
I-
still.
internet
Hold your
became-
hand up in the air. Praise God while you're doing this. And then, see, that'll make
Yeah, the internet became a
Get the ether up there.
Yeah,
All
the
right,
devil was trying to shut you up, man. We ain't having that.
So
Start
is this
over.
okay now?
Yes,
Yep.
it's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. It was trampled on, and the birds ate it up. Some fell on rocky ground, and when it came up, the plants withered because they had no moisture. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up with it and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil. It came up and yielded a crop 100 times more than was sown. So we get into what the meaning of the parable was. This was Jesus doing a parable. And here's the meaning. The seed is the word of God. These along the path are the ones who hear, and then the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, so they may not believe and be saved. Those on rocky ground are the ones who receive the word with joy when they hear it and then have no root. They believe for a while, but in the time of testing, they fall away. The seed that fell among thorns stands for those who hear, but as they go on their way, they get choked by life's worries, riches, and pleasures, and they are not mature. But the seed on good soil stands for those who are a noble and good heart and hear the word, retain it, and by the preservation produce a crop. So when we lay seed, which is what we're trying to do here, we know that there's going to be some that get excited, like the word's saying here in the parable. There's going to be some get choked out. But what happened when the soil, when it landed on good soil, it went 100 times more than what was sown. And I believe that's what we're looking for here. We're spreading the seed. We know that it's not going to hit everybody. It's not going to work for everybody. It'll work a little while for some. There's going to be others to be choked out after a little while. But in the long run, if we can have the 100-fold more than what was sown, we've won.
Yeah, when you talk about it's the second one where it fell on the rocky soil, I think we've all been doing this long enough. We've seen the syndrome of the summertime patriot, which it goes that term goes back to the Revolutionary War, when the people that weren't as into the movement went back home to their farms and to take care of harvest the crops and whatever else they did. But we've seen a lot of people, in 2020, when we had 700 vehicles going around 635 in Dallas, and everybody was, and then the election happened, and there were still some of us that were out there. And I think, Terry, we had how many cars on our way up to DC? 6?
Yep, 6 or no, we had 8 or 9 by the time we got there.
So once the big steal happened, we saw a huge group of people that got choked away, but there's still plenty of us though that are still fighting the fight every day, whether it be on a podcast and just keyboard warrior on social media. There's still people out there that are taking it to them every day. And the more that we foster that, we just have to keep the heartbeat going. And when people have been asking me about flags on vehicles again, it's coming. It's coming. And so we'll get, hopefully all those summertime patriots will come back. And when we get through this, there'll be more of them that stick around. And then the next thing, we just have to keep to keep fighting, and we just have to keep talking to people. We have to keep exposing the truth, exposing the lies of the left. And as bad as it's been getting, there are people waking. I hear every day, man, I just hear all these people waking up. It's because there are people that were on back when it was Twitter in 2020 talking about how bad it was going to have to get before everybody woke up. And we're almost to that point.
What happens when they find out about Haiti?
When they find out about what?
Haiti. Clinton Foundation.
Yeah,
that population is not going to like it one bit. And we're already getting... Anyway.
No, well, and you mentioned Diddy earlier, right? A lot of that is tied together. Clinton Foundation, the Catholic Charities, all these people, they think immigration is it's not just about getting more people that are going to vote Democrat across the border.
Well, you look at that name though, when you say Diddy or you say Kanye, that relates to the youth. And then they start paying attention because they know who those people are.
Right.
And then they say, what did they do? Huh? And so that allows us warriors that we never stop sharing our word. We never stop sharing the truth. We believe in it. And it's important because you never know when somebody's ready to receive the message.
Well, that's what the whole deal was, planting the seeds, getting that seed out there. And even though there's those other things that didn't happen, but the good seed that's landed on good crop was 100-fold. And like right here on our Real Deal broadcast, we just added YouTube. And, we're trying to get that message out because not a lot of people are Facebook followers because they don't like how they get hammered about something they say. But this broadcast is on YouTube. Go to YouTube and share it in an email to a buddy or a friend, or share it to them in a text message, because you can do that on YouTube. And that's the way you do it, and just keep doing that over and over to where finally it lands on
old guys. And for us old guys, that's high technology right there. We're stepping out of our comfort zone. But there's other different social media places that you can put this stuff. But we're working on it as fast as we can. But the youth is the future, and how we can connect to them and get to them. That's how we're going to get ahead, guys.
Yeah. Just from what Emerald 3434 tells me when he gets back, he's on his way home from college right now. Right. And he's telling me all of the at least the guys that he talks to that are that Gen Z generation, a lot of them are getting it. And
right. He's got this comment right here.
They don't know how they're going to buy a house.
How old is your boy again?
26.
Right. He says, yep, had some "you are right" statements at his college. He's talking to other people at his college, kids, his peers, and they're like, "Oh, you were right. Trump's not a racist or
The best way to start a conversation with him, you can bring up politics or you can bring up Christ. One of the two, and you're just going to get it, or Gundam. But
win-win right there.
It's the same way with my son. He's in his second year at Tarleton University. He'll be 20 in July. And he's a lot the same way. And he doesn't have a lot of faith, if things don't get situated, he doesn't have a lot of faith in this country. And he's even talked about maybe leaving if things continue the way they're going.
See, that's, and listen, I love Graham, and Graham's a good kid and everything. But when they get to that point, which who wouldn't? It's like I was telling you about my kids. They're sitting there thinking, how am I ever going to be able to afford a house?
Right.
How can I ever get ahead when I'm getting 50% of my income taxed, And so, but you know what? Good that they're getting frustrated. What they'll do is after a period of time, they'll be like, well, you know what? I really can't leave the country, but I really can stay here and fight for this country.
Right.
They'll get to that point, and it's a tipping point. We need to get to that tipping point, and there's some pain and suffering ahead for that. But when we get there, these kids they're going to empower themselves. And we just need to be there to guide them and direct them and help them and, give them what experience we can, So, and Jason's got a young man. He's got a son of his.
He's taller than I am, though.
He's proud of him, and he's playing ball. And, we all got these kids that we're trying to nurture and bring up as good, godly men. But, it takes all of us working together, So this is a great topic, man. I'm enjoying this.
You can kind of put it. I always use the analogy of, we go to these events, right? And it's a big shindig, and there's everybody's there, and let's just consider that one huge fire, right? Well,
Right.
the fire department can come in and put that one big fire out all at once. It might pop an ember over here and put it out, but they're still in vicinity. They can take it. But when we all go in there and we start that fire and we leave, we are the embers.
Right.
And we do go out there and we
We
stay
carry
lit.
it out. Right.
It stay lit, and the enemy can come in and he can put that big fire out that's left, but he can't run down everybody else that ran away. And then you just like a candle lighting another candle, it keeps passing on. Sometimes it gets blown out, but
I've been watching the Chosen, which is a very, very solid.
Series.
It's fantastic series. It's awesome. And I was watching how Jesus sent the disciples 2 by 2 out to whole different locations. And, at first they were trying to figure it out, but that example of that one big fire, when Jesus was in one place and all the disciples were there, that's this kind of idea of what you're talking, they can put that out. But when he sent out 2 by 2 and they went to all these way out locations and they were healing the sick and they were doing all the things that Jesus was doing, it had stirred up a stink. You know what I mean? And that's what we need to do, like what Jesus did with the disciples.
What was it? He said that the harvest is plentiful, but the reapers are few.
Yes.
The workers are few, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on translation or whatever, but,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, there can't be enough, and
Right.
largely it's showing up, right? They say like 98% of success is just showing up. Be there, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak out. Your voice is where your freedom comes from.
And don't discredit when a true exposure comes out and awakening comes out, where these people that held these beliefs can no longer hold them. They're going to crumble. We've all had to go through a grieving process at some point to unlearn everything that we've been learned, that we have been taught, and it hurt because, I love watching sports. I love NFL. I love the NBA. And I don't, and not at all. I used to look up to these guys, and I don't, and it hurt because I had to stop doing something that brought me so much joy my whole life, because it really never truly brought me any joy.
Yeah.
Right.
You and I have talked about this, Jason. I played football in high school and I coached Pee Wee football for all my boys for 15 years of Pee Wee football commissioner. Same with Bo, he coached and stuff. And so, but then when all this stuff started happening and they started taking a knee and they started disrespecting our country, I haven't watched a full football game in 4 years. And that is, my kids were raised with me in the living room screaming for Dallas or Minnesota or whoever I was rooting for, which was those two. But it just, it's sad, but I think that there is a change coming, and we just got to keep working on it. And what these kids believe and what they see, they're the ones that are gonna fund the NFL or the basketball league or whatever. They're the ones that if they stand up against it, it's gonna change the society. It's gonna change the culture. That's what I'm looking for. The culture. Yeah. So good stuff, man. We are getting towards the top of the hour. But man, we are Ashton's. I got Ashton's texting me. He said, yeah, this show derailed in the beginning. So he texted me because I didn't know who it was. So he texted me, but he was laughing about it. So that's when we had the audio feed. We've had audio problems all day today, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, Rob, hey, have you guys had a shameless plug yet today?
No, but let's get it.
Okay, I'll get one in though. But if you guys really want to support the USA Trump store, you can meet us at our store at exit 501 on I-35 on the Texas-Oklahoma border, right next to Tractor Bob's. Yep. Or you can go to usatrumpstore.com, usatrumpstore.com. And if we don't have something on there, you can message us. We'll get you
all your Trump merchandise. These guys have been great. And, we had a little conversation before this started, Jason, about some people who are Trump supporters or that have now, we were talking about unity in our community, and there is such great unity. We've got people on here from PFA, from Greg Robinson Horsemanship. We've got all these different patriot groups that come together that watch our podcast or that we feed back into them, USA Trump Store. But when we see people falling out and start being divisive inside our community, man, we can't handle that. And you and Sonny have been rock solid since day one, never skipped a beat. Sonny's been a great advocate for Trump and for, conservative, Christian values or just conservative values in our country, And so we can't say enough about you guys. It's been awesome to watch you guys grow.
Yeah, well, appreciate that, Terry, and appreciate all the help you've done with us as well. And we got a big year ahead. There's 7 months till the election. That's it, guys. Yep. And the foot is on the gas pedal, and it ain't letting up. So we gotta stick together. We can't have the dissenting. If you are dissenting, you're gonna get left on the side of the road because nobody's got time for that. And we got a mission. Get the man elected. Then we pick up the pieces and put them together when he gets back in office.
Get the J6ers pardoned. All of this stuff. Get the border closed. Get the damn border closed. Get the J6ers pardoned. Get election integrity. Place.
Let's get Lloyd Brunson's case back up and get rid of everybody in freaking Congress.
I have a copy of the whole thing of his. I have the whole right around here somewhere, man. That was an awesome brief that they filed, and it's a shame that we're even having to fight that should be a thing that would not be passed or a case that was won.
Greatly.
Swing the jail doors open. Let them come home.
Ready.
Uh-oh. Now we just lost Bo again.
It has been a day of dangle clacks.
It has been, but that's okay. We make it through. Well, listen, I guess Bo he didn't just like little drop off. He dropped off big time.
Sayonara.
Well, I think he was having internet issues.
Yeah. When he moves his head the wrong way, it changes. Oh, here he comes back on. When he moves his head the wrong, hold your hands up like this. Hold your hands.
Yeah, there we go. Now we got signal.
So, but
Jason, the next time you come on, Jason, I promise I'll have some of the Trump Store merch that I've gotten from Sonny over the years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had my Trump red coffee mug on my desk for a week, and it must be in the dishwasher.
Hey. Well, you gotta get a new one now.
I've got 2 or 3 from her, but yeah.
I believe.
Man, we covered a lot of ground today. We talked about a lot of different things, but I liked it because a lot of it was Trump related, a lot of it was Christ centered, and so it was good show, guys.
We are going to have the Trump shoes, the sneaker con shoes. We will have them.
So Jason is like the model. He's like when they go to these events, and I go and I see him at these events, and Jason's always wearing whatever the jacket is or the hat or whatever like he's got right now. He's like this clothes horse, right? Sonny likes to use you as her model. You're the model to wear everything out.
Get out there, Jason. Go wear this. Go throw this out there. I got you, girl.
Yeah, too much fun. Well, we're going to close it out. Bo, you want to take us out? Thanks you guys for being on, man.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I hope you'll join us again and work to get together and go up to the Trump Store one day and have maybe show our wares a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we can do something up there. Yeah.
I think you need to lean back again, Bo, like you were. Lean back.
Oh, yeah.
A little static again.
Is that it?
There you go.
That's
better.
I need some rabbit ears.
We want to thank everybody for joining us. Till next Thursday, 6 p.m. Daylight Savings Time. Join us again for the Real Deal broadcast.
Peace.
All right, guys. We love you. We're going to get that audio fixed, man. Love you guys. We'll take it out with that. See you guys next Thursday, 6 p.m. More audio. Rob, you got audio problems.